Hey, how's it going everyone? Raj here. Hope all of you are doing well. First thing to say is Happy New Year. This is actually the first video that I'm filming in 2021, and as you can see I'm in slightly different surroundings because of the lockdown here in the UK. I'm not in London, I'm with my parents. I've been here since Christmas and New Year and probably will be here for a little bit longer. So yeah, filming this one on my phone actually, so kind of going back to basics. But I've got a good fragrance to review for you guys today. This is a fragrance that came out last year and it is by the designer brand of Cartier. This one is Pasha de Cartier, the Parfum version. Nose behind this one is Mathilde Laurent. She's actually the in-house perfumer for Cartier. And the original Pasha de Cartier came out in 1992. I've got the details in front of me. So Jacques Cavalier was the perfumer behind that one. And I was really impressed with this one, this fragrance. I've been working off this probably around 5 ml sample. I've got a little bit left, which I'm probably going to save for when the weather warms up a little bit around springtime. Will be interesting to see how this one performs. But in terms of the notes for this one, there is notes of patchouli and sandalwood, fir, balsam, labdanum, benzoin, ambrosinide molecule, which is quite an interesting one that they've chosen to include that, kind of like a contemporary aroma molecule, you could say. There's tonka bean also in here, and the original Pasha de Cartier is actually a fragrance that I've only recently discovered. I bought a decant of it, and my plan originally was to do a comparison between these two fragrances. Maybe I'll do that later on. But the first thing to say about this fragrance, let's talk about like performance-wise. Performance on me is really great. I get really good performance. Longevity is excellent, to be honest. It feels very versatile in terms of where you could wear it and the time of the year. And I have to say that this one was I would have to say pretty much a love from start to finish. So what do I get with this one? Well, one thing I really like about Pasha de Cartier Parfum is that it is quite a balanced fragrance. It has different elements of, like, you could say styles or genres, but all mixed into one fragrance to create something that I think is actually quite unique, and I think is a nice, even though a divergence away from the original Cartier, the original Pasha, it borrows a little bit from that and then goes off pretty much in its own direction. So yes, there are some sweeter elements. I don't know if I mentioned a liquor note. I'm just reading off the Fragrantica website, but I have also mentioned, seen mentioned liqueur or some sort of boozy accord in this fragrance. So I just wanted to tackle that, because if there is that accord in this fragrance, I would say it's pretty much there in the opening. Not too boozy on my skin. Really what I get with this fragrance is almost like and this might sound like maybe not the best description, but there is almost a bubblegum sweetness with this fragrance, but a hint of it. I don't find it to be overwhelming. I don't find it to be in a high concentration like you might find in a Paco Rabanne 1 million, or you know, something like Polo Red, those types of fragrances. It's done in a way that I can really tolerate and actually really enjoy. So it is sweet in the opening, but not sickly sweet for me, not on my skin. I wouldn't even describe this as a gourmand. I wouldn't even go as far as saying that it is a too boozy on my skin, but there is this almost sweet resinous, a very green aspect to this fragrance that starts off in the opening, which is honestly done really nicely and I really like. The fragrance on the whole is quite balanced between many different aspects, so you've got that kind of sweet element. Then I've mentioned, as I said already, there's a kind of green aspect. You do get that very mossy, leafy kind of feel. I do feel like there is a little bit of lavender in this one, which you found in the original Pasha, but not in the same concentration. It does give me a kind of cold metallic feel with this fragrance. I do feel that this fragrance borrows from the original, but also it is similar in style, I would say, it has that metallic coldness is similar in style to Platinum Egoist from Chanel, which actually came out a year after the original Pasha. So there is a hint of that in here. I'm not saying it's comparable, but there is a hint of that in here. And also, adding to this foresty, mossy type feel, there is also a Sauvage feel in here. Dior's Sauvage, the new creation. Also a hint of, maybe you could say, Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, that kind of style that you would say is, maybe you would call it a blue style, which is very common in modern men's fragrances, but they've taken it and not overdosed it, which is something that I really appreciate. So they've mentioned this note of ambrosinide molecule. I didn't look into it too much, which house created it. There's always these big, what are they called? Fragrance and flavors houses that come up with these aroma chemicals. So it doesn't have that piercing sharpness that you might find that you will, for me anyway, I find in the original Sauvage by Dior. It almost has, I would say, used it in that real right balance. A hint of that. There's a hint of that kind of generic shower gel, which makes it sound like a bad fragrance, but actually I quite like it when it's done in this way, and when it's mixed in with all the other elements. So you've got that sweetness, you've got that green, mossy, kind of like pine tree kind of accords. You've got this blue, bordering on not exactly aquatic, but it's giving me this impression. And there are also some woody, kind of resinous qualities in this fragrance, and all of that actually coming together creates something that I think is really welcome. I think in the modern sort of modern men's fragrances releases, I think this is a really nice fragrance, and I'm going to give it a rating of 8.5 out of 10. It is a little bit on the pricey side. You know, this fragrance for 100 ml does go into that 3-figure territory, you know, just over £100. I have seen it on discounted websites, so maybe worth looking around. It doesn't feel too premium for me. I'm not sure if that full retail price is maybe justified, or they're asking a little bit too much there, but on the whole, really well put together. I think you could wear this in many different occasions, and yeah, gets a good score. Guys, I'd love to hear from you. What is your thoughts on this one? How does it compare to the original? And maybe give me some thoughts on the brand Cartier as a whole. Which is your favorite from that house? Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next video, and take care. Bye.